racing on asphalt and grit. We take on each track with skill and wit. From Zandvoort to Spa, with fire and flair, full throttle we race in the open air. Through Nordschleife's curves, legends are made. At Zolder we pray a lot. From Laguna to Silverstone, bold and pure, with every mile conquered our spirit endures. Oh, through each race, we're here for the thrill. With every gear shift, we're ready to kill. From Zolder to Daytona, the speed's in our veins. No turning back, the dream's ours to claim. Glows as the night race ignites. Red Bull rings darkness alive with the lights. We drive through the rain in rhythm and sound, with the heart of the race going round after round. Oh, through each race, we're here for the thrill. With every gear shift, we're ready to kill. From Zolder to Daytona, the speed's in our veins. No turning back, the dream's ours to claim. Silverstone speed, Laguna's tight, turns in every sharp bend. Its glory we yearn. Daytona calls, where champions compete. For the victory and triumph, we'll never retreat. Oh, through each race, we're here for the thrill. With every gear shift, we're ready to kill. From Zolder to Daytona, the speed's in our veins. No turning back, the dream's ours to claim. Engines cool down and the memories unfold. We stand proud, fearless and bold, chasing dreams from track to track, with the promise that we'll always come back. night is cold, the lights are bright, engines roaring ready to ignite. In the still of Christmas Eve, we race through snow, chasing dreams we believe. Engines rumble under the stars, winter's cold but we've come so far. Tires spin as the snow kicks up, racing hard we won't give up. Speed and fire through the night, hitting curves under Christmas lights. The track is long but the end is near, in the rear view there's no fear. On the track we feel alive, Christmas racing we will thrive. Dutch United we take the lead, in this season we chase the speed. Fast and fierce we own the snow, together strong we let it go. The race is ours, this night is ours, we're shining bright like Christmas stars. Wind is howling but we push on, through the frost we're never gone. One more lap, the stakes are high, feel the rush beneath the sky. The cold can't break us, we are free, racing through this Christmas sea. Victory calls, it's loud and clear, the Dutch United time is here. On the track we feel alive, Christmas racing we will thrive. Dutch United we take the lead, in this season we chase the speed. Fast and fierce we own the snow, together strong we let it go. The race is ours, this night is ours, we're shining bright like Christmas stars. The finish line is drawing near, but in this moment we have no fear. Through the ice we carve our way, racing faster with each holiday. On the
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dutch United Racing. Good to finally be here. It's been way too long here. And we are in round number 6 of the championship. And well, today we've got a grid of 14 drivers so far. So we've made a little bit of progress along the way. And I'm curious to see how this all plays out. We're currently about 5 minutes into qualifying. And well, at the moment, times are still pretty close here. Obviously, everyone's trying to go for their safe laps right now, just trying to see what the grip's like before we really get started. Obviously, for us, very much a experimental stream here, so we'll see if that can be fixed. Bolton here behind the wheel. Let's see if he could maybe pull a lap in here. Let's see here what there is to do here. One way to go, obviously. Currently, it looks like it's just Bolton looking to go straight in towards the first corner. It's a pretty tight one here, so you need to be careful. Obviously, this is the GT World Challenge layout that we are using here, as you might have expected already. And, well, I'm just trying to see what the laps are looking like. 9 minutes left to go. This is Michael Hoyt between himself and the cross. There's a portion. Oh, that's a little bit sketchy already, but he manages to save it. Currently, lap time's looking quite solid here. But however, can count this one off here, unfortunately. Just not really up to par there, and then that lap will obviously be invalidated here. Now, nice to see also is the fact that we've got drivers here of many different skill levels and also from plenty of parts here in Europe. Currently, we do see that the lap times are slowly but surely coming in here, and just trying to see whatever there's left, seeing whatever there is to pick up here. So far, the best lap time that's been posted here, so 155.955. That is currently the time to beat. This at TG Scout in the Lexus here, the lone Lexus on the grid. Oh, actually, not really. It's Dunval also was opted to go for the Japanese car maker, a car that's been forever since the ages. I believe it's almost 10 years old now, which is exceptionally long, and one of the few cars that I wish actually got an Evo update at some point, but teams are still running it here. For example, in the World Endurance Championship, a little bit less so in the GT World Challenge, which of course is what this game is all about here. It's Jan Larsen we're aboard with here from Denmark. He's trying to set a good lap out here in the McLaren, currently on a really good live delta, about 4/10 quicker than we expect him to be. He's looking to see if he could maybe close that gap. If he keeps up current pace, he's gonna be good to maybe even improve and go P1. However, he's lost a little bit of time going through the chicane, and that would mean that his gap currently is just a little bit too big, so he needs to try and see if he can find some lap time elsewhere. Is on the limit of the car protesting quite a little bit here, but he stays within the track limits here. It cost him a little bit of extra time, and now his lap's not looking so good anymore, barely up for an improvement, if even that at that point. So unfortunate here. We've got a long way to go. Left, right, then in towards the final tight right corner. We'll see this track, the Nürburgring GP track, one loved by many. It's one of those tracks here where the drivers can really find the edge of the limits here compared to, for example, the Nordschleife, which you could go onto if you were to go to the left there. This is Kevin Minderhout we are currently aboard with here, representing KMP Westland Racing. His lap so far is a 156.832, which means he's got about a second to find here. Wants to try and see if he could maybe get on towards that pole position, and that's a little bit rough, of course. Long way to go, but he seems to be doing very good in the lap times. And he's gone for the Mustang GT3, which has always been a little bit of a weird car in the game. Obviously, the most recent addition, together with the Red Bull Ring. And interesting enough, that was also actually, I think it was actually added with the Nordschleife now that I think of it. The weird part with that was that it actually used the aero maps of the BMW M4 GT3. Which is a little bit weird, I gotta say. This is Daniel van Dorsten behind the wheel of his Porsche. He's currently got quite a big gap to find here. It is more than 4.5 seconds here. Needs to try and improve on there. And the skill gap here has been quite massive, unfortunately. And I guess it will only come with time, right? Some drivers here maybe even new to the competitive racing environment. A little bit of a mess up there by Van Dorsten. He's still looking good for personal best. Though that won't really get him anywhere because it won't be giving him any positions if the delta stays like this. And there goes a little bit too wide. I actually think he just about made it on. The track limits in this game obviously a lot less strict than, for example, in a Race Room, which is a game that I personally really have been enjoying the past couple of weeks here. This is Dan Holm we're aboard with, presenting his own team, Holm Racing, and trying to see if he could maybe get onto the podium this race. It's got a long way to go here, a little bit of a wide position and from the Porsche, so we're gonna have to just go past him, see what Dan Holm's got to do here. I guess we're just gonna figure it out along the way. Last corner coming up, doing a very good job by keeping Gar stable here. It is Dan Holm looking to see if he could snoop off 0.2 of a second. Now that would solidify his position in P5. It wouldn't be enough to get onto P4, which is currently occupied by Wojciechowski. And well, it will be Dan Holm here getting a good lap in, and he'll be improving very close, but not quite at the level of the driver ahead of him yet. Daniel Homoki coming in towards the pit here. A very little time left to try and get another lap in here. Now you are allowed to finish up your lap once the time is over, before we get into the race, of course. This is Britt de Baltus going a little bit wide. Dennis Knudsen still trying to see what there is left to do. Is there any position that he could be gaining? Well, it's currently good for a lap time that's almost a second quicker than his best attempt so far. Now, if he were to keep that up, which is going to be pretty tricky, he'd be doing himself a massive favor here, and he could actually be pushing himself over on towards a podium spot, potentially even beating Larson and starting P2. However, he has had to deal with traffic a little bit there on the lap. He is currently on the limit here, coming into the final corner of the lap. It's quite a tight one, so you need to make sure your exit's good. You've got that traction control. He's about to shave off 0.8 of a second, and that is going to put Dennis Knudsen on a very nice podium spot for qualifying. So still, nobody's been able to beat Schouw of his time. Still the fastest with 155.955, which is just an incredible lap, really. This Britt Baltus here in P12. It's got about 6 seconds to find. This lap currently isn't one that counts, unfortunately. I must say, though, I do really like the livery. I think that is absolutely stunning and simple yet super good looking. Especially with the colored wheels, it's really made for a nice addition there. Just a color scheme that I'm a huge fan of. It's very classy. See, we are using custom liveries here, which makes this just even nicer, right? As you can see here. Britt Baltus then looking to finish up the laps, maybe hoping for some improvement there, but the delta's currently not moving, which should normally indicate that he is not currently on a fast lap. And, well, there is about a minute left to go, which means that we could be starting pretty soon. This Jan Larsen here still trying to see if he could make this work. He's currently a little bit quicker than he was in his previous lap here. Shaved off a 10th already, and if he manages to keep it up, might be able to just dethrone Xiaoweir for the provisional pole position. However, that is not going to be an easy task. And he knows it too. See that Knudsen is in P3, Minderhout in P4. Wojciechowski is in P5. And then we have a small gap, a very small gap of just 200ths of a second to the drivers below that. So Jan Larsen here finishing up his laps is going to be able to shave a couple thousandths of a second off, but it's just not going to be good enough to get yourself in a position to move up. And all right, we're going to have just a couple seconds left of qualifying here. Time is over. Drivers are allowed to finish their laps. That's 2 minutes before we all get cut out. Everyone should be able to finish off their lap. So this is what it's looking like right now. We see already the first drivers crossing the line. P4 it is for the Porsche number 25. Bolton trying to see what he can do. Time is very limited, but just trying to push at it one more time. And, well, it is going to be Xiao looking good for provisional pole. We're almost finished up in P2. Minderhout going a little bit wide. It's been also pushed down a little bit more because Knudsen, Holm, and Larsen are all putting in stellar laps at the moment here. Now, currently behind him, some drivers are still selling the fastest laps here, but Kevin Minderhout might just be able to get a couple more 10 shaved off, but he's going to go really, really wide, and that means that dream's very much over here. And Ritterbots has decided to abandon the lap. Then we'll see Michael Voigt doing the exact same thing. That means that we are through to the race soon. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to be back as soon as the race is going to start.
take on each track with skill and wit. From Zandvoort to Spa, with fire and flair, full throttle we race in the open air. Through Nordschleifers curves, legends are made. At Zolder we pray a lot. From Laguna to Silverstone, bold and pure, with every mile conquered our spirit endures. Oh, through each race, we're here for the thrill. With every gear shift, we're ready to kill. From Zolder to Daytona, the speed's in our veins. No turning back, the dream's ours to claim. Singapore glows as the night race ignites. Red Bull rings darkness alive with the lights. We drive through the rain in rhythm and sound, with the heart of the race going round after round. Oh, through each race, we're here for the thrill. With every gear shift, we're ready to kill. From Zolder to Daytona, the speed's in our veins. No turning back, the dream's ours to claim. Silverstone speed, Laguna's tight, turns in every sharp bend. Its glory we yearn. Daytona calls, where champions compete. For the victory and triumph, we'll never retreat. Oh, through each race, we're here for the thrill. With every gear shift, we're ready to kill. From Zolder to Daytona, the speed's in our veins. No turning back, the dream's ours to claim. As engines cool down and the memories unfold, we stand proud, fearless and bold, chasing dreams from track to track, with the promise that we'll always come back.
All right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get started here. 14 drivers on the grid. And it is 1 hour of racing here. 60 minutes total. On pole position is Tommy G. Schouw, who's done a great job at putting the car on pole position. Starting off here on the inside of turn 1. Holm is right behind him. Trying to see whatever there is to do here. Suspect there will be plenty of opportunities to make something work here. And, you know, obviously we are now live, and it is going to be a question of who gets to turn 1 the best. And by the looks of it here, it actually looks like all drivers are able to do so pretty cleanly, which is very much important here. And, well, it is gonna be here Kevin Minderhout to take that lead here. We see some contact coming through the corners too, but it's now Minderhout leading, Porsche right behind him. And look at that, more contact coming in from behind, some drivers going a little bit wide. And it looks like Minderhout's actually managed to get himself a little bit of a gap here. Larson has spun or crashed out. He's currently losing all the positions and is back into last place right now. Might have picked up some big damage on towards his car too. So that is not going to be pretty, at least here in the beginning. But, you know, that's just how stuff like this goes. And, well, this is Dan Gunvald we're aboard with here, trying to see if he could challenge that Mercedes down the inside. A little bit of contact being made, and that's the Lexus, unfortunately, going off here. A little bit unfortunate, I think, for sure. But that's the stuff that just sometimes happens in these kind of races. Lose a couple of positions, but still in the position to try and make up as much as humanly possible here. So nothing to worry about just yet here. But time will be of the essence, of course. This Jasper Otten we are on board with here in his Mercedes, currently holding on to P5. What is there left to do? I don't know exactly, but it's been a messy start here, for sure, here at the Nürburgring. I think we already saw a driver getting into the pits there. I'm not entirely certain if I saw that correct. Yes, there is, and it's probably damage that has been picked up along the way. They're a little bit unfortunate because these drivers were doing so well, but now that's just what happens sometimes, right? So that's part of hard racing. Jasper Otten wants to see if he could go down the inside, but doesn't quite have the space. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer to go for a move like this. And Jasper Otten here now trying to go for the switch back on the Ferrari here. Is that going to work out? Well, unfortunately, we're not able to see that. I think he did succeed, though. Yes, Otten does go ahead of Amoki there in the Ferrari. Sure, wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but managing to make it stick. So that's the priority. More contact being made between Voigt and Van Dorsten. And now obviously looking for the follow through here. I guess we'll figure out along the way how stuff like this will go. But, you know, that seemed like a pretty solid result there. And question is now mainly, of course, just how are we going to be dealing with the rest of the race? When does the dust settle? When are these drivers done battling? And can we actually go a little bit of a cleaner start there? Because that's what we're missing, of course. But so far, it seems like all drivers have gotten off it okay. I mean, sure, some big position swaps here that will have to be made up. For example, we see Baltus pushing through by 2 P10 just by staying alive in the race rod. It's really the only thing that he had to do. And, you know, that does give him a little bit of an advantage here, managing to make that work. Now, of course, we wait for the other drivers to arrive, get racing, get comfortable, and see where that leads us. It is gonna be here Daniel Moki trying to fight off the Lexus of Gunvald. Coming through the chicane. He's done a good job by keeping things clean here, but the next one's a tight right-hander. So we have a little bit of a replay coming up here, but we're figuring out along the way as we go here. We see that some positions being regained. Baltus having a little bit of a moment. Let's see what it was looking like. And this is a start once again. Plenty of cars involved here. Some drivers already going off before the braking zone. The BMW brake late, got touched on the inside, and it was the Mustang that was spun around there. So not the greatest starts around here. 55 minutes left to go. So we have now gotten into that position here where you know, everyone's just trying to do their thing. And it is still currently Minderhout in the lead, who's going to be pretty happy with how that is going, of course. So, yeah, it's not all too bad here. Obviously, still a long way to go here. We are still in a position where anything could happen, of course. championship also still very much. Yes, we're also fixing things on the spot as to where to go, which way. Will sometimes hear me go silent there. Maki's overshot that corner, and that's going to cost him a lot of time there. And that is a little bit unfortunate here. Trying to see if he could make up for that, but he couldn't. Kevin Minderhout currently in the lead. It is the Porsche number 25 right behind him. Gap's quite minimal here. Obviously, the Mustang has got quite a bit of power there. It's a little bit less nimble through the corners compared to, for example, the Porsche, but Mustang doing a great job right now, and it's obviously very much going to come down to the kind of personal preference, really. That's all it is here. You could just see that if you can manage to get those exit speeds up, you're actually going to be quite okay, despite there being a little bit of slipstream here. And, well, Wojciechowski trying to see if he can make up that place here. Schau is still not too far behind here. They're making a mistake going wide. I think it was still Zander going off there. Mini McLaren, a little bit unfortunate there. That just shows how much stuff can happen if you're not paying attention, really. And this is home then. It's got a long way to go still. Currently stuck in P7 here. Minderhout in the lead. Current lap time's about 1:57.375. It's still comfortable. Look at just how far the top three has actually escaped so far. Wojciechowski taking over the lead very shortly there. I think he's lagging out or something like that, because he was teleported back to the pits, but is now back on the track as far as I can tell. Of course, that makes me wonder if that's a mistake on my end or on their end, but regardless here, it is going to be Kevin Minderhout taking that lead and also keeping it for a full lap straight here. Now, we're not awarding any bonus points for that, but it is showing something regarding the consistency here. And Lexus also still very much involved here in that battle. Kevin Minderhout just having a solid race right now. It's got a long way to go, but see, there's 50 minutes on the clock here. You're not going to be fine just going without a pit stop here. So you're going to have to come in anyways. Go for a little splash and dash and see if that's going to make the difference here. And I think some of the less experienced drivers are actually also going to be opting here to go over for the power swaps, even though you should be fine without it. I think it does help with the confidence a little bit here too. But obviously it's gonna mainly just come down to what the drivers want here. I guess we're just gonna figure it out along the way here. This is Jan Larsen we are bored with. Yeah, he had a rough start to the race here, but very much still in it here. At the moment, just trying to figure out what the pace can be like alone, and there has been some contact there, I believe. Amaki's been spun around or crashed around, and that's never a good sign, is it? Kevin Minderhout seeing that gap becoming smaller and smaller here compared to the Porsche. And also the Lexus still very much able to pick up the pace, and the gaps are quite big here. I must say that it's been a little bit of a messy race here. But, you know, it has just been a very fun race to watch also. I think we can be happy with how things are looking right now. Long way to go in the race. All these drivers doing what they're supposed to do, of course. Trying to keep things clean. This is Michael Voigt we're aboard with. Currently in last position. Had a little bit of a rough start. Is now trying to make that up. But there's still plenty of time here. Try and do that. So I guess we're just going to be figuring out along the way how that's going to go. And we have a 5-second penalty here for the 25. I guess is that would be having to do with the collision that we saw in the beginning of the race, but I'm not entirely certain about it, but that would seem like the most logical thing to me at least. And yeah, and also 5 seconds have just been told for causing the collision for Xiao, who's currently in P3, and he could really just try and shake that off now. Yeah, that is quite unfortunate for him because he was in a good position to, you know, just do really well this race, and unfortunately that's just really been ruined. So that's a shame. Of course, now the questionnaire is going to be just how can the time be made up? Right, because that is quite rough here. It is P2 and P3 on a 5-second penalty, but obviously they got off the best from that incident, and that's also why they were a little bit ahead of some of these other drivers here. So in the end, everything will feel each other out, and I'm sure it's all going to be okay. But we've still got a very long way to go. And we are also going to be getting into a little bit of a replay here of the number 69 car, as I believe something has happened here. It is Michael Voigt we're going to be aboard with then, currently unsure as to what has happened. So let's have a look then. Oh, and he's been on the edge of the track, has gone a little bit wide, and then he's going to punt over one of the drivers. Oh, that's rough because he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't able to do anything about it, but we should be getting something from the live stewarding pretty soon here. They're currently having a look at it. But that's not only going to be time wasted, it's also going to be a penalty handed out. So yeah, that is quite rough there. And well, we are live at it again. 47 minutes to go. Penalties handed out, of course, are going to have to be looked at. Currently, that is all looking as planned here. Let's see, this Kevin Minderhout still leading, and he's going to be very happy, I think, with the fact that these penalties have now actually come in, because that actually means that he's in a great position to try and score some points now. Because they're going to have to serve that. That's going to give him a 5-second gap, and currently the gap seems to be quite equal. And that means that if the lap times stay like this, it's all going to be totally alright here, and I think that is kind of just what they've been looking at anyways during this race. So all is good now. Looking to minimize the damage here for some of these drivers. It's just Daniel Mocki we're aboard with from Hungary. I think the only Hungarian driver on the grid. It's the 65 car, and just look at how much he's using those track limits here. Maybe that was a little bit too much here. But anyways, not that that matters. This is gonna be just 15 minutes passing already here. It's gone rather quickly. And a 5-second penalty has been handed out for causing a collision on Voigt. Now, you could argue that has got to do with the fact that he crashed out himself, right? But unfortunate, because he obviously never intended to take down the other driver. But yeah, he's made a mistake. It's cost another. Even though he already got penalized by losing time. Yeah, it's just not going to help in a position like this anyways, right? But we'll see. If the time penalties accounted for, Minderhout's got a comfortable lead right now. we'll be figuring it out along the way. This is Daniel van Dorsten we're aboard with. About a second off Knudsen right now. Lap time's very similar, however, looks like Van Dorsten has been a little bit slower on their absolute peaks here. But yeah, consistency is also what matters a lot, right? So that's just what we're going to be looking at a position like this, and that will usually tell you the full story. Though not always, of course. Now, this is Dennis Knudsen we're aboard with. Indy Ferrari 296. It's a car that is very well rounded. The only thing that's really lacking is maybe a little bit of power on these straights, but nothing that can't be fixed there. Currently waiting just to see if all incidents have been looked at. I believe they have. We just gotta make sure to wait that out. It is Daniel van Dorsten we're aboard with now, currently in a decent position. It's got about a 10-second gap behind the Baltus, who doesn't really seem to have the lap times. Van Dorsten currently around the 2 seconds flat here, whereas the fastest driver on the grid right now by absolute lap time is Larson, who's posted a 156.557 here. So all is looking okay. Most definitely here, got a long way to go still. I think no matter what, you should be happy with how things are looking. Daniel van Dorsten currently surely is trying to make his way up there. Jan Larsen's currently on a great pace on average here, but he's also got quite a gap to fill to Gunvald already. Now, at least it might help him out later on that the number 2 and 3 both have a 5-second penalty. Of course, we won't be knowing till a little bit later on just how that will feel. I think so far everything has been okay. Right, everything could be looked at in a position like this. Gonna be quite happy, I think. And Larson just trying to see what he could get. It's basically for him essentially what this is right now. Is this is a little bit of a hot stint. This is Michael Voigt we're aboard with. Obviously got a 5-second penalty to form here. I guess we'll have to go figure it out along the way. Obviously the car doesn't look great on the front end especially. It's got a lot to do to improve there. Michael Voigt trying to see if he could make it that time. You know, I just actually asked around to the admin too, whatever the rules are regarding pit stops, and I was correct. There is no pit window. There is no pit that you need to do per se either. However, without a mandatory pit stop, you're not making it through the end on fuel here. So unless you spend a lot of time in the pits, it won't actually help you. That's not what we're looking at today. Obviously, still got a very long way to go. Jasper Otten currently in P4. I think he would be the driver that benefits the most from the penalties ahead here. Current gaps to the drivers in P2 and P3 are still quite big. I mean, the gap is still a solid few seconds, of course. So, yeah, not great, I want to say. We also see that Voigt are currently struggling a little bit to get by here. I think they actually collided there, so if they did, I'm sure that's going to have to be looked at here. Yeah, Button currently 13 seconds behind, and that's obviously way too much. However, with that 5-second penalty and perhaps a different pit strategy, you might be able to make that up and hang on in towards the slipstream, and who knows, that might actually get you. And that things might be looking very different, let's say. Stan Groenewald we're currently aboard with here. The Himmelfrey Lexus Racing livery, obviously one that has been seen many times IRL, and I think it's just absolutely sensational too. A long way to go in the race still, however. But at least the positive thing here, I think, which we all gotta take away from this, is the fact that all of these drivers here are finding someone to race at the minimum. Now, interestingly enough, currently it is Knudsen that has actually pitted. He was just overtaken Amoki already. Obviously, he was involved in that big accident in the beginning. He's currently trying to make a little bit of a comeback. And Holmes also pitted in here, as he obviously started from second position. So, seeing him in P13 is a little bit rough, but everyone's still in the race, which is the most important part. And I think is what makes this also just so much fun. But, you know, Moki's just waiting to see whatever can happen. Currently, P8 is by no means a bad position to be in either way, so I'm sure all is going to be okay. We're just going to be figuring this out on the spot here. And Holmes, P13. Alright, so one of the incidents has been looked at again. It's a 42 that will get the penalty removed after the race, so he doesn't have to serve it per se, and he should just be fine doing that. And instead, it will be another driver being getting that penalty here, and that was the 535 of Jan Larsen. So that's going to be pretty rough because he's trying to make a little bit of a comeback here. And that unfortunately just really isn't helping. So that's a shame here. But you know, that's just how that stuff comes there. From time to time, that's just how it's going to be. And it is 37 minutes left to go in the race here. Daniel van Dorsten is the driver currently aboard with. It is the number 15 car. And the penalty has now been added here. The 535 here. So, yeah, currently almost halfway through the race already. Time's flying by, and despite there only be 14 drivers on the grid, we're still seeing quite a competitive grid. This is Dan Goomba. We're currently aboard with quite a few Danish drivers in the series here. I wonder if they actually know each other. Wouldn't surprise me at all, because I imagine it's one big group, and that has indeed just been confirmed. So good to see that they're all joining in and having a little bit of a fun spot there. Obviously to race together, and also a few drivers. I think in voice chat this time around. Actually, not really. I was expecting that. Did see it before, but maybe not this session or in this kind of Discord, which I can't see, of course, but not in the public channel. Now, if you want to join this series, we have still got plenty of spots, so make sure you go check it out on the sim grid, Dutch United Racing, and you could still participate in this season here. Long way to go. Obviously, you know, the game has been on a little bit of a decline here. You got to keep in mind that this game has been officially considered a well, don't want to call it a abandoned project. They are still going to update the liveries and such, but they have said that no more major updates will drop, no more new cars and tracks are coming to this game here. So that means that state that it's currently in, which is of course a more than enjoyable playable game, is also going to be final state of it. So no more new tracks being added. Now that to me is a little bit of a shame. I would have loved to see some more tracks being added eventually, but that's not going to happen. Mainly the American tracks that are missing, I suppose. Obviously, coming from the GT World Challenge, Europe, Asia, and the Americas, you do see quite a few, but I think some other tracks would have been fun additions there. Obviously, we got the British car pack, which just really helped. Yeah, there's some more, of course, all along the way here. And Nordschleife, obviously, being a great addition too. Voigt has just gotten a drive-through. That is for causing multiple collisions. We're also getting into a replay a little bit later. But as I was saying, obviously the Nordschleife is a great addition. But I, for example, would have loved to see tracks like Virginia being added, right? I think that would be a great addition. Maybe even a track like Long Beach or something along those lines. Though I'm actually not sure if Long Beach was ever raced at for the GT World Challenge America. But Road America also, for example, or Sonoma Raceway would be tracks that would massively benefit from being in this game. Just to give her some more variety. Fortunately, that isn't happening anytime soon. Mid or High or Motorsport would also be great additions. That's just how that stuff goes here. And right, we're going to have a look at another replay here. This Michael Voigt we're trying to get aboard with here. So let's see how that goes. And let's see what actually went down as to what's actually caused this penalty here. So currently he's being caught by the Mustang. He's going to go and lose control. And that means he unfortunately punts the Mustang in towards the barrier. That's a shame. So the drive-through is a little bit rough here if you're in a position like him. We'll see, one of the penalties will still be cleared. The top 2 or 3 drivers, they're out currently in the lead. And now, obviously, with more penalties coming in, right, Larson also was made up all those spots, would have to conserve that. And Voigt has come in for a drive-through immediately here, now that we're reaching the halfway point of the race here. So we got to keep our eyes out on it. See what happens. This is Dennis Knudsen we are aboard with currently. Dane's got quite the comeback race to make here, of course. Currently in P6, started P4 on the grid. Taking that turn 1 rather aggressively on the Nürburgring. But you know, I don't really mind it at all. Trying to see whatever there's left in it. As I said before, a long way to go. Dan Holm here in P13. Just trying to see what else could be made of this. It's him representing his old team, P13. We have not actually seen also that one of these drivers has disconnected from the server and will unfortunately probably not be rejoining anytime soon. So, and actually, judging normally by how the servers are set up, you are actually able to technically rejoin, but I find it very unlikely that it's going to happen. Because usually if something happens, they could just teleport back to pits and start over from there once the car is repaired, but not in a position like this. But who knows? And regardless, well, I'm still hoping that the rest could finish up the race here. They're out still leading. Gap is 3 seconds at this point here. Larson's pushed through on P3. Is that actually the driver that we lost then? I think it might have been the driver that was... Who was it? Was it Gunvald in P3? Yeah, it actually was, I think, now that I recall correctly. Still quite rough. Obviously, Voigt, last position. Holm did overtake him, and Voigt has still got a 5-second penalty to clear eventually. we're going to be keeping our eyes out on the pits. Holm and Voigt have obviously come in already. Drivers have had to also because of the damages that they had. So, you know, that's just how that stuff goes sometimes. We're just going to continue. As if nothing happened. It is obviously a choice to disconnect that we can't really help. But, oh well. Just gotta be dealing with it sometimes here. This is Dennis Knudsen. We are aboard with 29 minutes left to go. So more than halfway through at this point. The race so far quite dominant by one driver. That is Minderhout, who has just been so solid all along here. He's showing absolute class right now. Doing exactly what he's supposed to do. I guess we'll have to try and find our way out of this right now. Which drivers are going to be taking the initiative? It is the number 23 that has disconnected. Fortunately, that's what happens. You know, sometimes races just don't really go your way, and you just got to deal with the consequences here. It's all part of racing. It's all part of participating in a league like this. It's still pretty unfortunate to see him gone. Well, this is how it's looking like. Dennis Knudsen is in P5. Larson currently P3, still got a penalty, but still has the fastest lap to deal with too here. Just simply has been solid all around this race so far. Also on the screen, this is me, Ricky from RDC Broadcasting. Very good to be here. Hope you guys are enjoying the commentating so far. I most definitely have. Of course, any feedback, both positive and negative, is very much welcome here and very much encouraged too. So, yeah, we are currently just doing really, really great. And, well, by the looks of it, Jan Larsen here in P2. Still a penalty to clear, but we have now seen drivers getting into the pits too. Van Dorsten is in, Voigt is in. The drivers that have penalties are now going to be serving them too. I think it's actually a requirement too for the drivers that are doing a one-stopper. Usually it is not something you can enforce very well. Sometimes, obviously, you plan on having a double, you can only do a single, but generally it is what is preferred. And it also gives the drivers to take an opportunity to get in there and maybe try and clear some gap for yourself. Ooh, is that Voigt just stuck there almost on the apex? I think that was. And I don't know what happened there as he got out of the pits, but that's obviously not the way that you want things to go like. A little bit scary, but again, such things happen. You know, most importantly, the drivers have all made it out unscathed, luckily. This is Kevin Minderhout we're aboard with after pinning from P1. Found himself in P6, but he's gonna have some traffic to deal with, which most certainly won't help his case. He knows that too, obviously. That's just what they're going to be working on here along the way. And Kevin Minderhout still in a good position. Jasper Otto moving on to P4. You know, it would be a good position for him to finish in. Obviously, doesn't have a penalty. So obviously needs to come in a little bit slidey there through the corner. Seems to control his Mercedes pretty well. Esports here, representing DutchUnitedRacing Racing Team with Landgraf. Graf's here going all out on delivery. We do see him coming in towards the pits now. Was to be expected, of course. Kind of rough because there's no other true positions that could have been filled there. Then Grunwald P2. 5 seconds here to the leader. Currently actually doing pretty well. Larson obviously did have to come in. Do see the Porsche taking the lead as a result because of it. So everything's kind of shaking up nicely here. Drivers are finding their comfortable pace here, and they're trying to see whatever they're able to bring out of it. This is Daniel Moki we're aboard with. Do see the Porsche having a little bit of a moment too, but does recover. Now, I think it is very much important here to have a look at how the race has gone for most of these drivers here. And the easiest way to do that, or maybe sure a little bit incomplete at times, but you can really tell just which driver has done really well. I mean, Gunveld's up 5 positions. Chow's lost 5 positions, but he has obviously come in already. We're waiting on Larson and Gunveld to come in. During at the pit, that will give us a more accurate representation of what's currently happening here. Once they've pitted in, you can really tell just what it's going to be looking like. Larson's obviously still got that penalty that we would expect and needed to be cleared. That's all stuff that's going to have to be looked at anyways, and they know that too, so we'll figure that out as we keep racing. This is Dan Holmer currently aboard with here. P11's had a rough race. Starting from P2, obviously it's never a great thing to be in a position like this. $21 minutes. Larson still P1. Daniel van Dorsten, currently the driver we're aboard with, has got a 16-second gap to Tilsander, a driver that hasn't had much things to do. Has had a quite quiet race here. But I think considering attendance, we will be happy with the fact that we still have 13 drivers on the grid anyways. Now, Larson's obviously still got that penalty. And with him also yet to come in and Gunvald yet to come in, I do think it's a good shout for Knudsen to get up there. Gap is currently 13 seconds. And well, I can tell you that much now, especially with the penalty, it is going to be quite rough. Larson here would have a 20-second gap to do his pit stop in and come out of it again. Gavorktin is very much damaged Porsche here. Bouncing over the curbs on the limits of the car, or on the limits of himself rather, should be careful. And Michael Voigt here still got a very, very long way to go. And yeah, I guess for him mainly just a learning experience, right? We all start somewhere and we all have these kind of worst races anyways, right? Larson, well, certainly still leading. I wonder actually, because it makes me think that he wants to try and extend that stint as long as possible, because the more he can be clean air, the better it will be for him, of course. Also a fun fact here. Somebody's been applying for this league that hasn't raced a single race, actually ever. And, well, that is sketchy. And that's actually quite weird, also considering the attendance race. But yeah, some people do sign up for the race, they never show up, of course. It's just how things like this go. And yeah, that is Thomas Botnar. So if you're watching the stream, buddy, come join in next time. 18 minutes to go here. And Dennis Knudsen here, P3. What can he do? Minderhout looking to chase. Does mean that no matter what, with the penalties, that it is no longer gonna be Minderhout in the lead, no matter how you look at this. Just a little bit rough here. And Dennis Knudsen currently P3. Just trying to see what that leaves him to do. Jesper Otten currently holding on. He still's got a way to go. And is in clean air. So when it comes to lap times, he should just be fine here. And it looks like his lines are actually quite good too. Jesper Otten now looking to come on towards the main straight there. I think that the number 69 car there had a little bit of a moment there. But he managed to save it because it didn't go into a yellow bubble for a very long then, which obviously is very much a good thing here. At the moment we wait just to see how this will be looked at later on. It's looking like everything will stay the same. Gunvald's going to come in to serve his pit stop here, and that obviously rings the question, who is going to get ahead of him? Looking like Minderhout and Knudsen both will. Knudsen has just paused, and Minderhout is now doing the exact same thing. Gunvald's going to be going down a little bit here, and even the pole might try and go ahead of him here. Wojciechowski is gonna finish ahead by the looks of it, or at least get ahead here, I should rather say. Obviously, there's still 15 minutes to drive. Yeah, he's gonna lose a couple position, even dropping behind Shao. And Otten is still 40 seconds clear, so Gunvald that just shows how close the field is still together in some points, and also just shows how impactful those pit stops can be. Luckily, most drivers here are going for the splash and dash, only comfortable enough to race the entire race on the tires as they stand, which is really going to be important here along the way. But just great to see, no matter what here. And Dan Holm in P11 here. We get to see if there's any positions that could be gained here along the way. Larson's obviously still got that penalty too. It's almost like you'll forget about that, and that's going to be quite rough here, because if he wouldn't pit, potentially, he's obviously still got to make sure to serve that penalty, so it would just be added to his last race time. And well, Knudsen currently 20 seconds behind. Would really be helpful. Well, of course, it would still be a second lap if he wasn't planning on pitting. So that is pretty unlikely, but still. Anyways. 14 to 17 is what it's looking like. And here, I must say, Actually looking at that, looking at the pit times, there's some variation. Some are stopped for 36 seconds only. We've seen drivers go over a minute. And that would usually indicate a tire change. It's mainly on those drivers that are a little bit behind anyways. And I think that kind of confirms two things here. As Voix had a little bit of a moment. Confirms that the lesser skilled drivers are also struggling with the tire management a little bit more. But also shows maybe they will not have those strategic insights or the confidence to finish off the stint all the way through. And that's what happens, right? Daniel Mocki here battling with Holm. And, well, it looks like we actually have a good battle for position. Currently, Holm is chasing. Mocki's gone by. Are we going to see a send down the inside? Not yet, at least here. Other than the start, at least the recoveries have been made. We're no longer seeing some big incidents either way, which is good. Wachowski, P7 has just disconnected too from the server. No, actually he's back now. I think it's just having some internet related problems there. Right, and well, 12 minutes to go here. Larson's still showing no signs. Maybe he's just gone for a full tank and thinks he can do that. Larson here. 535 car is actually going to be finding himself in traffic a little bit here too, which most certainly won't be helping. Dan Holm very much clear of Maki at this point here. Hasn't really been close. Daniel van Dorsten, the driver currently aboard with Indy Porsche, is the 9th position right now, looking good for a top 10. At least here. So points are going to be coming in. Points are going to be awarded. Just want to see what happens most here. Daniel van Dorsten here. The lap seems to be consistent here. Currently doing about 159. So not quite there when it comes to competing with the big boys, but still, I think more than fair. A very good showing it has been from him this entire race so far. I think there's no denying that, obviously. And Michael Voigt here, currently a driver in last place. Knows he's got a lot to learn still. He's looking to do exactly that, of course. And, well, currently doesn't seem like he's got the pace to catch up with anyone. It's just so far gone here. A little bit unfortunate, but that's just how that happens sometimes, right? You can't win them all. No matter how hard you try. I'm sure that every single lap that he's doing is going to get better at it too. That's usually how stuff like this goes. And currently, the question is mainly just how are drivers going to be adjusting here to the pace of the faster drivers. You can see that obviously lap traffic is very much a thing for some of these drivers, something they might not be very experienced with either way. Jasper Otten in P7 is also going to be going at it here. Just trying to see if the lap times could be improved. On Gunvald is about 12 seconds clear for now. Knudsen obviously has taken that lead now that Larsen has come in. He is now taken that lead upon himself to make the most out of it. Still a long way to go in this race. 8 minutes is going to be good for about 5 laps here, depending of course on your on-track position. Yeah, Larsen, I think, considering the position that he was fighting from in the beginning, should be very satisfied with how these things are looking. And albeit a bit rough sometimes, still very much a learning experience. Penalty, of course, is something that we could always debate about, but this is what the live stewards have decided, and that also just means that you got to deal with the consequences, even though you don't entirely agree with how some things are done. Unfortunately, there is just nothing that you could do about that one. So yeah, that's what happens here. Currently good to go for a couple more minutes. Yeah, race slowly but surely coming to an end here. Of course, my first one on the stream. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get used to these drivers that we have on the grid. With, of course, me not knowing exactly what these drivers are capable and not capable of. And also the fact that I haven't been on ACC very much recently, as most leagues that I can also decide to go off it, but I very much like the commitment from regular AC to ACC as it stands right now. Very much an improvement, I think. Dan Holmier trying to challenge, very close to the McLaren, but makes his way by smoothly. That's a very nice looking pass right there. Making that work. Showing the potential of the car also. Seem to grip on and hold on until Zendor from P9 is gonna be stuck there, trying to make up that time, and no matter what here, was just very fun to look at. And then Grunwald here in the 6th position right now. Not really being contested for anything. 12 seconds clear on either side, very much clear in fact, so don't know exactly what there is still to grab for him. Grunwald here just looking to try and keep things as clean as possible here. Obviously off tracks and such not really helping, and ooh, that's sketchy right there. Managed to keep the car going in the right direction though. That really had me holding to the edge of my seat there, because that very much could have gone wrong here. Now Van Dorsten's actually trying to catch Zender too. Gap currently less than a second here in the final 5 minutes of the race. That could just be a little bit of a plot twist here towards the end of the race, but not sure if that's what we're going to be seeing here, but we'll figure it out along the way here. Long way to go still in this race. There is 4 minutes here. Daniel van Dorsten, P10. Is there anything else that could still be done here? 3:45. Danny van Dorsten's got the gap down, and it is Dennis Knudsen. I mean, what can you say? Just a very solid round here, no matter how you look at it. And Van Dorsten now all over Tenzendor here towards the end of the race. Is there that could be done? Dorsten doesn't quite have the pace here, but he's very close by. 2:28 is what it's currently looking at. And Van Dorsten here kind of losing that connection a little bit then. Shaw still trying to get close to the Porsche in number 3 right now. 2 minutes on the clock. We do see those drivers almost connecting here. Michael Voigt here, lost position right now. He's got about a minute clear, unfortunately. Michael Voigt here, what can he do here? I wonder how things like that is going to be looking. I guess we'll have to just wait for the result. This is Jasper Otten we're currently aboard with here. She's also trying to get pretty close, but we are into the last minute of the race here. Obviously fair to say that he needs some time too. Schau's just overtaken Wojciechowski. Dorsten still battling with Tenzendor. Knudsen still leading all the way through, and his name hasn't been said a lot because he has just been so solid this entire time. So yeah, that is a little bit rough there. Well, it's time to have a look at this man here. Dennis Knudsen. Waiting for the time to come over here because he should just be good to make it all work. Just been very solid here. I mean, it's just, I've got nothing to say about it really. Just a very good result from him, and he's going to be finishing off this race in P1, just a matter of time until the current leader comes in. Calls it the end of the day here. Should just all be alright here. Daniel van Dorsten looking to go by. Might just be able to make that work here. Just gotta be making sure that it's actually gonna happen. Daniel van Dorsten looking to come around here and come to the end of the race. P1, of course, also. Oh, sorry, P1 and P9, of course, also. Zender still chasing, as we do see that Daniel Knudsen is currently in the last corner of the race. He is going to be taking that checkered flag with ease. He's going to be winning out the Nürburgring GP. The 60 minutes of the Nürburgring are his. Minderhout finishing P2 at the end of the day. And Schau is behind him on 11 seconds here. Trying to get close to that line and is indeed going to finish P3. Board with Moki. Wojciechowski is finished over in P4. Holm finishes P8 on 1 lap down precisely here. And waiting for Larsen to come in. It's going to be 5:35 for Larsen then. In P5, Gunvald is going to be finishing right behind him. Dorsten P9, Tilzender P10, Gunvald P6, and Alton's going to be finishing P7, the only driver to just about make it through the next lap. And then that means that basically the entire grid is finished in the order that you're currently seeing them in. And well, we're just waiting for the last drivers to come up there. Alton's still out there, Michael Voigt is still out there. We're still driving, but other than that, they're going to be totally alright. And yeah, indeed, now it is just waiting for Voigt to come in. He's going to be finishing a couple laps down, 28 laps total. Winner has done 31 laps in total. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Knudsen winning, Minderhout P2, and finishing off the podium is Schau. So ladies and gentlemen, just going to finish up here. A little bit of a break, then we're going to go over the standings one more time. Then we're going to be calling it quits for today. So while we wait for Voigt to finish, I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, and just one more time here to show you the standings. It's going to be Knudsen winning the race in his Ferrari 296 GT3. It is Minderhout finishing P2 in the end. Then we have Schau, Wojciechowski, Larsen to finish off our top 5. P6 is for Gunvald. Then we have Otten, Holm, Van Dorsten, Telzender, Hamoki, Rail, and Voigt. And unfortunately, Baltas not finishing this race and quitting after 11 laps. So this is the final result then. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Next up is going to be Brands Hatch, who I hope to see you guys there next week. As always, my name is Ricky. It's been an absolute pleasure providing the commentary for you. And I wish you guys all a very pleasant rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time.